So, people wanted me to talk about The Boys from Amazon Network. Um, this is probably going to be my final request of the year. So, I won't be taking any more requests or anything like that for a while. There are some must watches and must reads I would like to talk about. So, without further ado, let's talk about The Boys. The Boys is a live action dark superhero TV show that's on Amazon Prime Video, based off a comic book by a creator which name I have met but totally forgot. And before I talk about the show itself, let's talk about the creator. When I went to a Heroes Con one day, and I heard that, hey, this is the guy that's creating the boys and stuff. And I think this was during season 2 ended. I met him at a Heroes Con. And as I was talking to him, I was like, so, what do you think about the show and everything, And he had his differences. He didn't like the show. He hated how they turned the show into a modern political spectrum. He did not like it. He hated how they did it. In fact, when you go to conventions, you see some creators which they have shows based off their work. A lot of them do not like the show. Like the creator of Cleopatra in Space and stuff. That show that had like 2 seasons. He didn't like the show because he told me read the books and see how you feel. And he hated how they changed her character into the stereotypical girl boss character. Like, don't get me wrong, Cleopatra in Space, she was a cool cadet, but her attitude was completely different compared to the books. And her male best friend wasn't a bumbling idiot like they did in a TV show. He was a dude who was trying to understand human emotion and stuff. And then the chick friend wasn't an alien-like fish-looking thing. But I'm getting off topic. What I'm trying to say is that when you go to conventions and you see people who create these stories and they see them get animated, for some reason, America does not like staying true to form. I don't know why, but it's just a thing that we have been doing for many years now, where we see a book or a play, and we just always, the directors always want to change it to their vision, and when we see it, and you might enjoy it, but sometimes when someone tells you or shows you what it's really supposed to be, I've always get the same reaction most of the times that I've done this. They're like, why didn't they just do this? This feels way better. I remember watching the boys shorts where they're doing those animated things, and my sister was watching how the characters look and what was really going on. She was like, why didn't they just make this into live action? This feels a lot more interesting. Don't get me wrong, the boys comic is very graphic and sexual, really sexual, but it was at least still interesting. And as the show was still interesting, it just became too political. So there's a guy named Huey, and his girlfriend gets killed by one of the top heroes named A-Train. A-Train was running fast to defuse a bomb, and he just runs through her. And he's been trying to cope with this until he finds a group of boys that want to stick it to the superheroes, no matter what. So he joins this, and his morality is challenged. Another main character is a female who becomes one of the top characters of the superheroes. And she has this power of light, and she's super strong, and she starts dating Huey. And she finds out terribly how corrupted, of course, the world of superheroes is in that world. So they find some way to not just stop these superheroes, but also destroy the system. Most of the time, they're not really killing the main superheroes. They're just showing them up, blackmailing them, compromising some deal. Most of the time, they're mostly dealing with the villain of the season, I would say. Most of the times, there'll be a new kind of villain or hero that the people have to go up against, like Soldier Boy, Stormfront. It changes each season, so that was kind of disappointing. But anyways, as the show went on, it became very political. And if you've ever read the comics, it's not, let's say, political, but more of a business slash TMZ kind of thing, where, of course, the heroes are treated like celebrities more than heroes, and they would screw up or do something indecent. You know, it was showing the struggles each superhero went through and everything. And it not just focus on the top superheroes, but other superheroes that were also within that show. Ones you will never ever see on the TV show. And I do mean there's a lot of them. And some of the boys, some of their powers and their nicknames are a contradiction. For instance, the black guy named Mother's Milk. He's called Mother's Milk because he got his powers through his mother's milk. But you never see that in the TV show, so you don't do that. A-Train wasn't originally black. He was white. And he was one of the three people that assaulted Star. Yes, there was three people assaulted Star. It was Homelander, Black Noir, and damn, I just said his name. A-Train. A-Train. A-Train were the ones. The Deep never insulted Star. He never did. In fact, he was morally a strictly businessman who only cared for money. He even had a tank on his head. Not the Deep you watch in the show that acts like an insensitive loser all the time who feels like he needs everyone's approval. He was just a dude that just only cared about money. He was a Scrooge McDuck. So there was a big difference there as well. And of course, there was also twists and turns. For instance, Soldier Boy was not Homelander's father. No, he was just this guy who just kept being replaced by another person to represent Soldier Boy before Homelander. Then there was also Stormfront, who was a Nazi, but was also originally a dude. So they gender swapped him. Crazy, right? And then there's one of the biggest twists in the story where it turns out Black Noir is actually a clone of Homelander, but a stronger clone of Homelander. So he was a failsafe just in case if Homelander ever went rogue, went crazy, which he kind of did at the end. And he's also the cause for the suffering of one of the main characters' lives and stuff, where he would do all this crazy stuff and pinpoint it on Homelander, and Homelander has no memory of doing this because he never done it, but he starts to believe that he is this psycho that he really isn't. But he goes for it anyways, but because he went rogue, Black Noir kills him. And then he gets stopped by the boys, and then the main bad guy, the dude that's, the guy that plays the dude that used to be on Breaking Bad, Gus, the guy he plays him now. I can't remember these names right now. But anyways, he gets away with everything. He pretty much uses everyone. He's cold-hearted. He manipulates everything. And he kind of gets away with it, meaning corporations go to corporation at the end of the day. But what I'm trying to say is it's still entertaining and very enjoyable to watch from time to time. But sometimes you watch TV to escape. That's what I do. I watch TV to escape, to get my mind off things. Because when you're on the internet, you hear someone talking about politics. When I'm at work, I'm hearing someone talking about politics. I'm listening to radio sometimes, someone will mention politics. Hell, even when I'm watching a freaking video game retrospective that's like 2 to 3 hours long, it is about BioShock. And out of nowhere, I'll hear about modern politics. I can't escape it. It's nuts. So when I'm watching The Boys, it's like, it's going to be in it, so you don't have to watch it. But sometimes I roll my eyes on it because it's completely one-sided politics. It just shows how one side of the spectrum is completely bad, corrupted. They control the media. They're trying to tell everyone to be hateful. It is very ironic how the pushback of the show, in a way, kind of made people favor that side, ironically. For instance, Homelander. He's supposed to be the main bad guy of the show, but he is the most favorite character of the show because of the way he acts. the way he is. He's supposed to portray of a certain individual in our modern times, in how he's supposed to act. Well, he's supposed to be a nationalist, where he only believes in protecting the country and the country alone. And then you have the people who are supposed to be the good guys, and they're globalists. They believe they should protect everyone around the world, which is kind of impossible. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is this: is that there's an episode on The Boys where it shows this dude, well, their portrayal of an incel, glasses, fat, neck beard, all that stuff, and he is living with his mom. He goes to a convenience store where there's a Middle Eastern man there. He goes to the store for God knows how long, but he's been there for a while. And he keeps watching the news, saying how the foreigners are terrorists, the foreigners are bad people. We must do something about this. He keeps watching until one day he goes to that convenience store with a gun and he shoots the clerk because he's been manipulated by the news. This is true. This stuff does happen. Ironically enough, it's been happening on the other side, the so-called good guys on this show. What I mean by that is that a certain individual, a very debater, was assassinated while he was doing a debate, a talk at a college. Someone shot him. And this isn't the first time it's happened. Someone tried to shoot another individual who ran for president. You know who they are, Trump. And it is funny how it kept trying to show how a certain group is prone to violence and chaos in this show. But when you look at reality in your own world, who are the ones burning down the cities? Who are the ones robbing the stores? Who are the ones who keep interrupting police investigations? Who are the ones that keep trying to shoot political icons a lot of the times? Who are those people? You know who they are. I know who they are. I'm sorry. I didn't want to get political with the show, but some of y'all wanted me to talk about The Boys. And the thing that gets me mad about The Boys is the hypocrisy of it. Is how it keeps showing one side. It's like a projection. They're projecting so hard because they're trying to show that this one side of the spectrum is so bad and so mean. They do all these terrible things to these people, but then yet again, look what happened. You see the side that's supposed to be the good guys on a TV show, but in reality, they're the ones causing trouble for everybody. People were getting sick and tired of their antics. People were getting sick and tired of being called these terrible things all the time, just for disagreeing with them. And the funny thing is, the majority of people that were labeled these terrible things were never political in the first place. A lot of people, believe it or not, aren't political. They are not. I myself is an affiliate. I don't believe in choosing a side. I believe choosing the individual which lines up with your interests for that moment and for the foreseeable future. That's what I believe in. I don't believe in picking sides like a football team because none of these sides really have your back at the end of the day. But the fact is that it's caused people to be radicalized even more now than ever, to a point where it chose unpolitical people to actually pick a side. And it didn't pick the side that the people who run this TV show, The Boys, weren't expecting to do so. I know. I got too political in this. I'm sorry. But when you talk about The Boys, you kind of have to, because that's what the show became. A show was supposed to be about superheroes being like celebrities and being exposed like TMZ by these group of vigilantes. Ended up being this political thing where only one side is the true bad guys that's endangering the country. But then when you look outside or look at the news and see what's really going on, you're like, is that really the case? Is that what's really going on? It's not. So here we are with this, and then it's like, nope, we don't like it. I myself struggled to watch the latest season, and I forgot when the next final season comes out. But to tell you the truth, I am not looking forward to it, because it's everything I've already predicted it's going to be, which I don't really care for. But that's just my opinion on it. Um, Black Noir was ruined. A Train, I guess they gave him a bit more personality. I'll give him that. They made it deep to the typical insecure kind of guy. Homelander is still good, but in a different kind of way. But that's not bad. Um, Huey is a dude that gets chopped on every single time, especially by his girlfriend. A lot of people who begin to like Star in the beginning of the season start to hate her because the way her looks, her attitude, especially towards Huey, is just messed up. It's annoying. It really is. But anyways, that's just my opinion on the show. Me thinking about this just brought back a lot of cringe-worthy memories that I had when I was watching the show. And it's like, Hollywood really did ruin entertainment of now by injecting their ideology into every single thing. And it's not working out. It's not, man. But yeah, I might give my final opinion on the final season when it comes out and just say how I feel. But let's just say I'm not really looking forward to it. I'm not. So anyways, that's all I got for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and of course hit that bell icon. This has the background on anime. Signing out.